Hello and welcome back to Off the Rails with your host Chris Young and
Ian Tengler.
And today we're joined by a special guest and Gasparilla Music Festival performer Camille Trust. Hey Camille, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
We're good. You're a New York City-based singer-songwriter and you released your debut EP No Other Way in May 2018. And you've quickly established yourself as a strong female force in the music scene, garnering praise from the likes of Billboard, Nylon, Du Jour, Pop Dust, and more. Your singles Scandalous and Lavender were each named one of Time Magazine's 5 songs you need to listen to this week. And your YouTube channel has over 500,000 views on music videos you have single-handedly directed and choreographed, as well as 2 million streams on Spotify as an independent artist. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to be proud of. Yeah. So that's so cool. So I read that your new album, New York to Florida, correct? Is written and recorded over Zoom while you were in Florida. So tell us about that process.
Yeah, so I'd been living in New York for 8 years. I'm born and raised Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then, moved to New York to pursue music. And then the pandemic hit, March 2020. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I see where this is going.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So I went home. Back in with my parents, which was a humbling experience.
Yes,
I
understand.
As a grown adult. And so I just felt really restless. And so I still had all my relationships with all of my producers and writers in the city, so in New York. So, but everyone obviously was working remote at that point. So I was just like, you know what? Let's get on some Zoom. Let's do this thing. And so I started writing a bunch of songs with them. And I was like, you know what? Let's roll with this, baby. So I ended up writing maybe, I'm trying to think now, because there's 11 songs on the album or something. I can't, now it feels like lifetimes ago, but that was only in September. But I'd written a lot of songs, and then I kind of was just like, I just want to make an album kind of encapsulating this time of just coming from New York to Florida and being in Florida and being in this very stagnant state physically, but sort of feeling very restless creatively. So just trying to do with it the best case that you can.
That's so interesting. So being in your childhood home and going back to your roots, do you think that had a big influence on your album, or did you just do what you would have done if you were in New York too?
No, massive. I mean, so I think in the beginning, some of the subject matter was very relationship and things that me and my New York brain. And then you can sort of feel definitely in the songs too that it kind of moves into this more different, state that I was in. And the title song from that album is called Florida, and it's basically it's a love letter to the state, because I was like, I a lot of people give Florida a lot of crap, but I'm slowly becoming proud to be here. I think because I just ran away when I was, right after high school, and was like, I'm out of here. So it was very lovely to, almost fall back in love with the state despite a pandemic.
That's so cool. Well, on that note, I think we should play Florida. So
yes.
Let's do it. Next song we have.
Let's do it.
Back to Florida.
And welcome back to Off the Rails with your host Ian Tengler and
Chris Young.
And we are back with Camille.
Yeah, baby. So
that song was amazing. So Chris, what song was that?
That was Florida off of her new album, New York to Florida. So, So what did it feel like listening to your song and hearing it back?
In the studio?
Yeah, in the studio.
It was kind of a surreal experience. It's really, it's beautiful. And especially just being in Florida and being in Tampa. And we were saying this while the song was playing, but we're just literally a stone's throw from where I'll be on stage in a week singing this song. So it's... And in the city that I grew up in, so it's a beautiful feeling and full of nostalgia for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So going back to when COVID first hit, so what were your thoughts on the music industry's longevity? Because it was kind of really questionable at the time, we didn't know what was going to happen. So what were your initial thoughts going in?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting because I had actually a few gigs set up for that week for March, that week of March, whatever. I think we had a show scheduled for March 14th or something. and everything just started getting canceled one by one, and then just like asking all your friends. I was like, oh no, oh shit, like my gig got canceled. Okay, wait, oh now things in April are starting to get canceled. Okay, now May. Okay, now this entire tour has been canceled for the whole summer and things like that. And it was just pushing farther and farther. And I mean, everyone was just like, it was an emotional roller coaster for anybody involved in the industry in any sort of entertainment industry, but particularly for musicians. From my experience, and just all the whole New York musicians in the scene and things like that, it got pretty dark for a while. People were just like, do we need to find real jobs?
Yeah.
Like, do we need to go back to school? Like, everyone was like, are we like this? Are we stuck like this forever? Because first it was like, oh no, we'll definitely be back by June or something.
Right,
and then
right.
it was being pushed like, no, for sure it'll be fall. And then it was like, wait, are you serious? Like, we might not have a show until 2021. I remember everyone's minds were blown. And then the fact that it's 2022 and we're still in it in a lot of ways. And I still have friends who are getting tours canceled left and right. So I don't think obviously nobody anticipated this. And I think musicians, it's been really hard for people to get back in a lot of ways and feel normal again. I don't even think anybody feels normal anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, you're familiar with live shows, right? You did backing vocals for Shawn Mendes, Kesha, you've been on live. So I'm guessing you miss that. You know what I mean? You miss being live and you miss that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it adds a new element to like the songs you do, or you're like the being in a concert and stuff like that?
I definitely feel that everything is just so much more special and so much more like, oh my God, I'm so grateful to be doing this. For example, last year I got the call to sing backup. This was in 2021. So in February 2021, I got the call to sing backup for Nathaniel Rateliff on SNL. And I was here in Florida, and they were like, oh, we're looking for New York singers to like do this gig. I was like, yeah, I'm in New York. Definitely wasn't. Don't tell them. And I fully, but I remember just seeing my friends, because we all got the call, and there was 3 of us, and we were just like, oh my God, like, thank God we have a gig again. You know, it's been like over a year to just like be in a room together, singing harmonies with your friends and being in the band vibe and feeling the live music. And I think for everybody now, everything is just so much more special and impactful, and it resonates so much deeper, as opposed to like, whatever, it's a gig. Thanks, I'm getting money. Thank you for the check. Thank you for the exposure. Thank you for the whatever. And this is much more like, wow, like it just reminds you about why you do what you love to do. And, you know, because, you know, some people did fully make a career change from during the pandemic, because they were like, this is not sustainable. I'm miserable. I was miserable. I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm sick of being broke. So, and so a lot of people did change. So I feel like the people that really stuck through, it's so much more deep.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like after the pandemic, it really opened people's eyes to like, you really don't have to be like in New York City or LA to get these opportunities to collaborate with those type of people. Do you feel the same way, or?
Absolutely. I think now things are starting to open up, but this whole time I was definitely in this, because I moved out of my apartment in New York. I put my things in storage. I fully came back here, and I had my album released at the Floridian down here in St. Petersburg, because Florida was way more open the whole time. So therefore it was possible to do a concert down here with hundreds of people, as opposed to, you could never do that a year ago there. So and people are still like very hairy about doing shows, even if musicians are getting the call, they're like, I'm not even sure if I feel comfortable yet doing that. But I feel now New York is definitely like opening up more, and people in LA and people in New York still think that that's the place to be. I don't know if that's necessarily the truth, but they're still definitely holding that mentality.
No, I completely understand that.
Yeah, no. So speaking of live music, now that we're going back full force here, you're playing Gasparilla.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? And that's happening next week.
And 1 week from today.
1 week from today.
Wow.
So this is your first time performing at a festival with your own music. So what does that feel like?
Unreal, honestly. And I think a few years ago I got my first backup singing gig, and I was singing backup for an artist at Governor's Ball in New York City.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
That's awesome.
It was dope. And then we did a bunch of festivals that summer, and just doing it. And I just remember the feeling, being on that stage, and almost this like like I want to be, I'm so close, but I'm not
Yeah.
there, you
Yeah.
know, like I'm on the stage, I see the people and I feel the energy, but it's not my music, it's not my show. Lovely to be there for the support and feel the feelings and doing all the things, but also like having an artist pass at a music festival is the
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's just very nice to be in that world, and so having the actual feeling that it's going to be, I haven't even processed it yet, because right now my mind is thinking about like the show, the rehearsals, the
Yeah.
singers, and everything. So I'm not, what am I gonna wear? So I'm still just in like hustle mode. I probably won't realize the feelings until I'm on the stage itself, but it is unreal. And when I saw the poster and how my name was just on the my name like on the poster, that's so crazy.
That
I
is
remember
so
I just
cool.
cried. But yeah, it's an unreal feeling for sure.
Yeah, no, because one of the other questions that I was like kind of thinking about as you were saying that was, I mean, the emotions when you play live, it's just got to be like everywhere. But I know that every musician is different, but what are your like, I mean, what do you feel like when you go on stage?
I feel that it really is almost like a feeling that is unmatched in any other feeling that I feel in any other world. It being in love, whatever, like have my happiest moments in life, whatever.
Yeah.
But the feeling of being on stage and feeling the energy of like the audience giving back to me, and I'm giving everything that I have. I give everything I have. I leave it all on the stage. I'm not.
Yeah. As you should.
I've
Of
always,
course, yeah, I mean-
Of course. But I've always admired and looked up to performers that were very balls to the walls, full on, like Janis Joplin, James Brown, strong performers. Yes, obviously they sing their faces off, but very much so in this, like, you just fucking feel it from the
Yes.
deepest parts of their depth out.
Exactly.
And then
100%.
the audience feels it too. If you're not giving it 100%, the audience isn't going to be as engaged. So it's like, this is my time to do this, and let's go all the way.
Yeah. So you mentioned Janis Joplin and Amy Winehouse. Big fan of Amy. Played her a lot on the station.
Yep.
If you had any like artists that you'd want to collab with, who would be your dream collab?
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yes, I love it. I
Yes.
love Stevie Wonder, and why?
One of the last living legends in music.
So true.
Yeah.
Very true.
For sure, Stevie Wonder. I think like
Cool.
yeah. If we're talking more modern, I think it'd be really dope to work with like Timbaland.
Yeah,
Okay.
Timbaland. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I would love
I like
to
that.
work with
That's a good
him.
one.
Would be sick. Or like Lauryn Hill would be amazing.
Wow. Yeah. That's really cool. Like that '90s, like like
90s
early
vibe, you know?
2000s, like yeah.
I just recently listened to Justified, like the first like breakout album of Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah.
Justified with Senorita and like you don't mind I love you like I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh, yeah.
If you
Go for
need
it.
to be refreshed, please do your homework. It is insane.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And I feel like Y2K, like the whole 2000s thing, is kind of making a comeback now, too.
Oh, it is.
Deeply.
If you ever want to do a project about that, I feel like that would blow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would definitely blow up.
An idea's born.
Literally, yeah.
idea.
So, where do you see your music going, you think, in your career in the next maybe 5 years? No pressure.
Yeah, in what capacity?
Just like your career, just like your aspirations.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in the next 5 years?
I want to be touring for sure. I want to be playing more festivals.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be on some cute Spotify playlists.
Of course, yeah.
Let's manifest it. Yeah, I definitely would just love to. I say first things first, like opening up for a bigger artist, and then ultimately headlining my own tour. Winning a Grammy would be awesome too.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
The dream. Yeah, so, Ian, is there anything else you want to ask?
So actually, so going back to Stevie Wonder, the legend himself, what was the first song that you heard and you thought, fuck, this is amazing?
I know. I probably Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yes.
Classic.
A classic. But now because I like have sang that song so many times and it's deeply in me, I would say my now favorite song is As.
Yeah.
From Songs in the Key of Life. So
Interesting.
good. But yeah.
And,
There's so many.
Because the reason why that I asked that is like, so my dad like had me listen to Motown when I was a kid. So like I listened to like,
Me too.
Stevie Wonder and all that stuff like in the car, and it's like, man, this is really good music. But you find that today it's kind of rare, at least in my opinion. But with musicians like yourself, you kind of like kind of like rebirth it almost, you know? It's just that music that's like that needs to be heard more.
Very much so.
But yeah, but so one other question I did have for you is that when you are thinking about like set lists and stuff like that, like the components of the show, in your mind, what is your like the top component that needs to happen at a show?
I think so. I grew up performing. I've been performing since I was a kid, very much, you know, and I also did theater. So I'm very much about the I'm very much aware, and there is a lot of thought that goes into the entire set list. And although and it depends, you know, some sets or whatever, but I'm only limited now to 30 minutes for GMF, so don't be late. And 6:30. And basically you have to really take them on a journey, but you have to start out strong, get them in with some sort of like very catchy rhythm or something. Then it has to be big bangers in the beginning. Then you can this is my formula. Then you kind of slow down the tempo. Now we can drop into a ballad. Then we need to bring up to another mid-tempo in order to end it on another banger. So you kind of do this tempo-wise.
Yeah. So
but emotions-wise,
an
you're
emotional
going this way.
Yeah. So going back to like you know the artists that you want to collab with, what would be like if you had a co-headlining tour with any artist, who would it be?
Dua Lipa.
Yeah,
I think would be
Dua
like
Lipa.
the immediate. That's the first who came to mind. Would
That's
be
awesome.
sick.
That's so cool. I think she's on tour right now, correct?
I think
I think my friend just bought tickets for her.
Yeah, no, because I thought a thing for Live Nation say, oh, Dua Lipa's going on tour. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. No, I think she started her tour in Miami. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, she's really popular right now. Her songs are very like, I don't know, they're like earwormy, radio friendly, really poppy, but also
Deeply.
very good.
Oh
so
yeah.
I like it a lot. Yeah.
And so going back to going full force live music, we've all missed it, you know, for almost 2.5 years almost, right? When you played the first show or when you go to Gasparilla, what will you think? You're like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this again. Like, this is just amazing. I just love what I do. I mean, for an artist like yourself, it must be like crazy.
It's huge. It's definitely huge, and it's definitely just going to be an amazing feeling. And luckily, I've found a solid group of musicians down here who are incredible players. So I know that I'm in good hands as well, because that was not something that I was very nervous about, because I do have my band up in New York. But so finding musicians down here and definitely doing it is going to be beyond an incredible feeling, indescribable, if you will.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to go. Never been, but I'm excited to see you and hear your music. And from what I've heard so far, I love it. So
Yes, me too.
I think Unapologetic may be a good song to end us out on.
Let's go.
Yes. So,
Let's go.
Yeah. If there's anything else you want to say, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us.
Thank
this
you
was really
guys.
fun, and it was really cool to
Make
talk.
sure you stream the album New York to Florida. It's on Spotify and all other streaming platforms. And if you're in Tampa, come out to Gasparilla Music Festival. I'm playing at 6:30. Not on the main stage. It's called, I believe, the Replay Guitar Exchange stage.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Unapologetic by Camille Trust off of the album New York to Florida.
Woo! Thank you.
I'm the